I wrote the book, The Lord is My Shepherd, after having studied Psalm 23 for many, many decades. I've preached and taught through it many times, and I've read everything that I could find on the 23rd Psalm. The single biggest insight that I ever gained into helping to understand the meaning of this psalm was found in another biblical text in the book of Genesis, Genesis chapter 37. This is the story of Jacob sending his son Joseph to find Joseph's brothers who were sheep herders. And they had left their home in Hebron down near Bethlehem in the south of Judah, and they were migrating with their flocks up into the lower areas of Galilee. And so Joseph was looking for him, and it says in Genesis 37 that he came to Shechem, and he said in the village of Shechem, "Where are my brothers? I don't see them here. They should be here." And a man said, "Well, I saw that they've gone on to Dothan." And when you trace this on a Bible map, you see that there was a migration that was taking place of about 100 miles from the south to the north because of the changing of the seasons. And as I studied this more carefully, I realized that from the days of Jacob and Joseph until the days of King David, who himself was a shepherd boy, there had been 1,000 years in which this same family had been making the same migratory pattern with the sheep. And Genesis 37 gives us the template for the 23rd Psalm. Psalm 23 covers that same circuit because in the winter everything is fine down at the Father's house where the pastures are green and there are clear, still pools of water. But as the summer begins to come and it gets hot and the water dries up and the grass dries up, they have to hit the righteous trails. They have to take the right roads, and they begin this annual migration. Shepherds still do it today. Sheep are migratory animals, but they have to have someone leading them. And so when you read through Psalm 23, it is this migration that begins at the Father's house in verse 1 and ends up back at the Father's house in verse number 6. And so there are 6 stages along the way. The Father's house, the home base, the home ranch, the starting point. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down here at home in these green pastures and still waters. But then secondly, we have to hit the road at a certain time. There are transitions in life, and so we have the right trails to take. And then thirdly, sometimes those lead us through very dark valleys and canyons like the valley of the shadow of death. And then we come on to the tablelands where a table has been prepared for us up in the high mountain regions, and He anoints our heads with oil there, and He waters us out of the wells, and our troughs overflow. And then at the end of the summer season, we hit the road again, and we come back towards home with goodness and mercy following us all the days of our lives. And where do we end up at the end of the pilgrimage? In our Father's house, where, as Jesus said, there are many mansions. And so Genesis 23 is a migration. It is a pilgrimage of life with our shepherd going ahead of us every step along the way.